Hello, good evening, my dear YouTube viewers. Today also continue the village studies. According to Mr. Mayer, there is a separate place to meet and chit chat or refresh the relations, that is particularly water fetching point, corner of the street, meant for women. This is also only for non-horizon or untouchables. Mr. Dubey is noticed, he considered a mark of responsibility of women if they talked or even see with their eyes of downcast. He also said the nature of works for males and females in long back. Mr. Srinivas said, man was exercised the control on domestic economy. Example, after getting grain or paddy or wheat, whatever it may, the main staple food to their home, they use it to distribute for the artisans as a matter of payment for their yearly services who render to for their households. He also said that males are viewed in case of woman has gone to outside the family, move with a heterogeneous society. They thought she is unable to understand and do some services to the outside. This is only the long back notion, but not now. Even at the villages, men thought woman is meant for family life, that is the sexual activity. In the society, don't use the word sex. Instead of that, we should use the word family life, very refined terminology. As it is declared as a property, like the land, but there is no vice versa. But the woman does not have the right, the husband is confined only for her. So, polygyny and concubine was allowed by the society. Polygyny stands for many women married one person, male. Concubine is having the illegal relationship of the man with the another lady. So here it is, for this we can use the word polygynandrous. I will explain this polygynandrous everything when I will deal with the marriage institution or family institution. Now we are touching only the various activities at the village level, so we should confine only the few statements. Mr. Dubey said, due to patriarchy, he is the only person to dictate the societal as well as the domestic norms. All people should follow it. Particularly, wife and children should always be loyal to the head of the family. As a master, he will declare. Next, field view and field work. When the social scientist wants to do any research activity, there are two types. One is doctrinal, another is the field area, that is the empirical study. Now we will switch over to the empirical studies, that is the field work. The scientist or the scholar used the participant observation is the hallmark of anthropologist in general. Participant observation is a technique. So in social, cultural anthropologist in specific. Here first you should have the knowledge about the what is technique, what is methodology. I already explained in the research methodology. Once you go through. So here it is, participant observation is the technique only. Earlier economists and demographers used to apply the survey technique at rural areas. But there is a lot of difference between the survey technique and participant observation technique in order to draw the facts from the field study. Hence, in this way, social anthropologists respected in Indian academy. Field view was superior to understand the contemporary India because it provides corrective, partial, book view through the Indologist from Hindu text. Here Indologist is nothing but the scholars who will study the languages, history and philosophy, particularly from the Indian point of view. So we can call them as an Indologist. Example here, book view. Information is always partial because written at ancient period, and also Indologist has written based on the elite section of the people. Why we are thinking whatever the matter, if it is in the book, it is always partial. Why? Because earlier there is no secularism. The caste system, Varna system was dominated. So the people used it to write only the elite group of people. So written based elite section of people. So in contrast, the anthropologists nowadays applied scientific methods and techniques in order to understand the socio-cultural life of India from the grassroots level. Once again, we will recap the information. Today also we will continue the village study information. Mayor said there is a separate place to meet and chit-chat or refresh the relations, particularly for the women, at water fetching point, that is well or hand pump, corner of the street. This is also only for non-horizons. This is only for touchables, not for untouchables. Dubé said he also observed and he considered a mark of responsibility of women in case if she talked or even see with their eyes of downcast, it is a sin or it is not accepted by the society. He also described the nature of works for males and females at the village level. But Srinivas said man was exercised control on domestic economy. Example, after getting the paddy or grain, whatever the main staple food to the home from the agricultural field, they used it to distribute for the artisans as a matter of payment for their yearly services who rendered to their households. He also said that males are viewed in case of women has gone to outside the family, particularly and move in the heterogeneous society, they thought she is unable, incapable to understand and render her services towards the general society. This is only long back, this was the notion, but not today. Today the woman is also coming forward, even at the political affairs they are taken their own participation. Men thought woman is meant for family life. Family life means don't think the homemaker. Here the family make means sexual partner. She is meant only for that activity. But in the society, when you are moving, when you are talking, you should use the word family life. Don't use the word sexual activity. Then, as it is declared as a property, the man is declared, the woman is her own property like the land property. But this same phenomenon is not vice versa for the woman. But the woman should not think like that. She should be the flexible. If the man was roaming with men people, this should be accepted, or else she cannot go outside the family, she cannot live alone, because earlier education was not there, no jobs will be there, simply adjustment phenomenon she had. Next, polygyny and concubine. Polygyny is nothing but many women have the only one man. Example, like the Mahabharata, Draupadi is having many husbands, but here it is polygyny. Polygyny means Ravanasura. Only single male person is having the many wives. So you can use the polygyny and polyandry. Here it is polygyny is important because we are studying the women related issues. Concubine. Concubine is nothing but the man is having the extramarital relations with another woman illegally. In a local term, second setup, you should not use that word. So it was allowed and accepted by the society. So this type of phenomenon, we can call it as polygynandry phenomenon. Dubé also noticed due to patriarchy means male dominated society, he is the only person to dictate the societal life as well as the domestic norms. All people should follow it. Particularly, wife and children should always be loyal to the head of the family because he is acting just like the master. Next, switch over to the general subject, field view and field work. The research will be two types. One is the doctrinal research, another is the empirical research. The doctrinal research is only depending upon the library base. So you can go search the matter and you can keep the facts in an organized way. Whereas the empirical study means you should move to the field area and you should prepare the questions and ask them. So here it is the field view and field work in social sciences. Then switch over to the subject. Participant observation is a hallmark of anthropologist in general, socio-cultural anthropologist in specific. Participant observation is a technique but not the methodology. Already in the research methodology, I informed what is the difference between the technique and the research technique and the research methodology. You gently go through that. Earlier economists and demographers used to apply only survey technique at rural areas. If they want to know the problems at the rural areas, they apply the which type of technique? Survey technique. But there is a lot of difference between the survey technique and participant observation technique in order to draw the facts from the field study. Hence, in this way, the social anthropologist respected in the Indian Academy. Field view was superior to understand the contemporary India. What we mentioned in the book is different. What you observed with your naked eyes, the information is slightly different because it provides the corrective and partial information. Book view through the Indologist from Hindu text. Here it is, Indologist means the persons or the scholars who wants to study the languages, history and philosophy will come under the Indologist scientist. That is the social scientist. They will study the things from the Indian point of view. The book view information is always partial. Why? Because the author cannot interested to present the facts. Some are be humiliated, some will be degraded for some group of people or the weaker sections or the dependent people. So they do not want to put all these things in their book in a long period. That is the ancient period. Only they want to write about the elite section of the people. So nowadays, in contrast, anthropologists applied the scientific method and techniques in order to understand the social as well as the cultural life of India from the grassroots level. By this, today's lecture is completed. This is Bindu taking leave from the YouTube platform. Don't think village studies are very easy. Here it is a model for the entire the society. Village is a model, small model to understand the entire Indian society. That's why they included under the UPSC syllabus. Interactions, interrelations and the regular social activities, religious activities, women's role and also why they want to hide some secrets, why they want to open only few. All these things we can understand. And agricultural based activities, non-agricultural based activities, all these will come under the rural based study or the agrarian study and another way agricultural based or the village level study. Please study very sincerely where the madam has focused very important points. Okay, hope that you can understand. Whatever I am telling later I will discuss. The matter will be more elaborately I will discuss. Example, family or marriage system or some other political information or the women's role or the women's violence, everything in detail in another time and I will explain that. Okay, if possible do like and subscribe. Okay, good day and good night.